In this video, I'm going to solve equations that involve two different absolute value expressions. Recall that by definition, the absolute value of A is equal to A if A is greater than or equal to 0, and it's minus A if A is less than 0. So first I'm going to solve the equation absolute value of 2x minus 3 is equal to absolute value of 3x minus 1. Now there are a few different possibilities. So I could have that the absolute value of 2x minus 3 is positive, or it could be negative 2x minus 3. I could have the absolute value of 3x minus 1 is positive 3x minus 1, or it could be negative 3x minus 1. So it almost seems as though we have four different cases, but in fact it really boils down to just two cases. Let's consider the first case, the case where they are both positive. So the case where absolute value of 2x minus 3 is positive 2x minus 3, and the absolute value of 3x minus 1 is positive 3x minus 1. So I go ahead and solve this linear equation. Let's subtract 3x from both sides to get minus x, and let's add 3 to both sides to get 2. Solving, we get x is minus 2, and that takes care of the first case. Now we might also have that the absolute value of 2x minus 3 is negative, while this one is positive. Or vice versa. This one is negative, while this one is positive. But these really boil down to the same linear equation because you could just multiply by negative 1 on both sides to get from one to the other. So we will just solve the equation minus 2x minus 3 is equal to positive 3x minus 1. So the case where the absolute value of 2x minus 3 is negative and the absolute value of 3x minus 1 is positive. Okay? So we go ahead and we solve this linear equation. So I have minus 2x plus 3 is equal to 3x minus 1. Then subtracting 3x from both sides, I get minus 5x, and subtracting 3 from both sides, I get equals minus 4. And finally, I get that x is 4/5. Going back to the original equation, it would seem as though we have one more case, and that would be the case when the absolute value of 2x minus 3 is negative and the absolute value of 3x minus 1 is negative, so when they're both negative. However, that's of course the same as the case as when they're both positive because the negatives just cancel. So we have considered all cases, and that gave us two solutions. X equals negative 2, or x equals 4/5. And I will leave it up to you to check that both solutions satisfy the original equation. Next, I'm going to solve the equation absolute value of x minus 3 minus 2 times the absolute value of 6 minus x is 0. This is similar to the last problem. So first I will rewrite this as absolute value of x minus 3 is equal to 2 times the absolute value of 6 minus x. And again, this boils down to two cases. The case where both the absolute value of x minus 3 and the absolute value of 6 minus x are positive, which is the same as the case where they're both negative. And the other case is the case where one of them is negative and the other is positive. So let's go ahead and do the first case where they're both positive. So absolute value of x minus 3 is x minus 3, and the absolute value of 6 minus x is 6 minus x. Continuing, we get x minus 3 is equal to 12 minus 2x. Adding 2x to both sides gives us 3x, and adding 3 to both sides gives us 15, or x equals 5. And that takes care of the first case. Next, we'll consider the case where one is negative and the other is positive. So let's take the absolute value of x minus 3 to be negative x minus 3, and the absolute value of 6 minus x to be positive 6 minus x. Continuing, we get negative x plus 3 is equal to 12 minus 2x. Adding 2x to both sides then gives us x, and subtracting 3 from both sides gives us 9, or x equals 9. So in the first case, we found that x is 5, and in the second case, we found that x is 9. And I will leave it up to you to check that both values satisfy the original equation.